Welcome back to the kitchen. You were here with Team M.A.D, Rational in the building with your man Twitch for Life, MrBroadcast, and Art behind the camera. And as a special guest joining us tonight, Mr. Rudy. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here with y'all positive brothers here. You know, y'all got something good going on here.
Oh man, look, appreciate that, brother. So look, today this is going to be the 4th of July episode. So we're gonna get a little bit serious, do a little politicking, but not a lot, because we don't like to do that. So I believe Artemis Prime has a clip for us. I really don't know what clip it is, but we're just about to find out. Uh-oh. Who is this?
Patty is speaking out today after a video of her complaining about a little girl selling
first of
water
all, she
bottles
ducking
went
and snitching.
viral.
I tried to be polite, but I was stern.
Is she?
The woman was recorded hiding behind a wall in San Francisco talking on her cell phone.
This woman don't want to let a little girl sell some water. She calling police on an 8-year-old little girl. You can hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Appearing on the Today Show, Permit Patty, whose real name is Allison Edel, says she tried to be diplomatic.
They called her Permit Patty.
For
real.
They
keep the noise
internet is
down.
And I
undefeated,
said,
man.
please, I'm trying to work. You're screaming, you're yelling, and people have open windows. It's a hot day. Can you please keep it down?
But mom, Erin Austin, who recorded the video, says that's not how she remembers it happening.
She said, if you don't show me a permit, I'm calling the cops. Okay, call them. When she pressed 911 dial, I pulled my phone out of my pocket.
Illegally selling water without a permit?
What kind of monster calls the cops on a little girl? Whether she's black, brown, orange, yellow, purple.
But Edel says she was actually talking with the building's security guard, not police. She says she has received thousands of hateful messages.
All kinds of threats. Horrible images. And death threats.
That's Gumby. He who shall remain nameless.
For real.
Okay. So first off, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it really was.
That she called quote unquote security guard on a little girl for not having permits. This goes into exactly what I want to talk about actually. Right? So I think far too often we let our constitutional rights become too complicated, too muddied, right? It's too much. It's because things are a lot simpler than that, right? Because I believe at the forefront of America's creation, we had a document that stated it much simpler, right? That kept it real and kept it easy for everyone to understand. So easy to understand, in fact, we used it to become independent from Britain. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine that, right? So look, and we don't even need to read the whole document. We can just go to the beginning of paragraph 2 and keep it so simple. If we just stick to these, we might be all right. You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna just read this real quick. This is part of this document called the Declaration of Independence. You might have heard of it. The Declaration of Independence that keeps it real and simple. Right? It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm gonna just stop there. We don't really need to go any further than that, right? So why did this woman believe that this girl didn't have the right to pursue the happiness?
Maybe she thought the little girl was taken away from her pursuit of happiness.
With water, sir?
Well, you know, I did look the situation up earlier just to see, because sometimes you can't go off the Facebook video to what's going on. So I did look it up and seen how did they get started into that situation. So she said she was inside resting. The girl was screaming loud, hey, we're selling water, buy some water. She claimed she couldn't sleep because the little girl was...
So what city are we in? Just to clarify, what city are we in?
I forget it was near a ballpark stadium.
Yeah, it was a baseball game.
Yeah.
So there was a baseball game nearby.
Mm-hmm. And she was selling water to people leaving the stadium.
Okay, so can we for 1 second? I want to get the city.
I just read this. It was
because
Bay
that matters.
Area. Wait, what?
It was AT&T Stadium.
Oh, I think she's in California.
Oh, she's in California, San
Oakland.
Francisco.
She's in Oakland.
Oakland.
Okay.
She's in Oakland. Mm-hmm. She's in
wait.
Oakland.
San Francisco. Okay.
Okay, so she's in San Francisco, the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're in San Francisco, right? Like, at what point in San Francisco are things quiet?
Never.
Well, like, all right. So in the video, she was talking about how people are working, busy conducting business, and then now she's taking a nap.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
Taking a nap.
So I'm gonna need her to pick a struggle.
Right by
you working or you napping?
Wait, taking a nap by the ballpark though, but mad because the girl screaming, but you
Right,
by the ballpark.
Right. But like this sounds to me like a decision you made when you decided you was gonna get your place.
Yeah.
Whether you rented or bought it doesn't matter. When you decided this is where I'm going to reside, this seems like things that you would have thought about, that it might be loud here.
Here's my observation though. You said you were resting. So did you run for 2 miles before you made it to the little girl from your rest? Because you look like you just got through running. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not even talking about her, true on appearance as a person, but she appeared to look like she just finished running.
She did have gym clothes on.
Right. You get what I'm saying?
Okay,
Then I can get you clothes.
She might have been yoga pants resting. Okay.
But she looks sweaty and dehydrated. Like she was upset that the water was $1 and didn't want to pay.
That's why I said hater. I say she was a hater at first.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, because everybody knows you can go to like Walmart and get, a pack of 24 waters for $2.34. Like everybody knows that, right? However,
not in Oakland.
Not in Oakland. It's $3.25.
Like 10.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's
but
expensive
look,
out there.
yeah, but look, either way, like, ma'am, first off, it was a little girl. Mm-hmm. That's the first issue. Like, it's a little girl. You don't treat a little girl like a full-grown adult conducting an actual business, right? And to be honest with you, I don't even know. Like, I at least out here, you don't have to have a permit to sell water.
And on the video, they said they called the police first to make sure they wasn't doing anything illegal.
Right.
So they already had the clearance from the police to.
Yeah, like you have to be making like a certain amount or doing a certain amount in order for that to even be valid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to like pull up and like obstruct traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to have like a food truck.
Yeah, for real.
Here's my thing. Where was she at on Lemonade Day? Because you're gonna tell me on Lemonade Day kids weren't out there at the bar or on the street,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
You wasn't checking for permits then,
right? But then she had the nerve to be on what was it? Good Morning America.
Oh yeah.
Right. And cry about it.
And cry. She cried. I've been getting death threats. Of course you'd be getting death threats. You called the police on a little girl selling water.
I know like 2 or 3 of her.
I mean, I'm saying, of course you're getting death threats. That's a little extreme.
Yeah.
What I mean is, of course people are mad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I really mean. Of course people are mad. Like, come on.
Well, I know that
kind of person.
I know it's hurting her pockets because if you've seen a lot of her sponsors have pulled away from her companies.
Actually, one of her businesses has shut down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, see, here's the thing. I think she overreacted. I think she did some stupid. I think she made a mistake, but I feel like her life being ruined because of this is a little much.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's awesome is you actually have companies out there who will stand by their morals and values. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Regardless of how she's affected, I think it's awesome that people will stand by their morals and values. I think that's good.
See, here's my counterpoint to that.
Mm-hmm. To which
she wasn't to what you just said about her life being ruined, and I don't mean her life, her personal life, but as the CEO of a company, you are the company. You are the spokesperson of the company.
You're your brand.
Guess what? Papa John's ass had to go ahead and sit that ass down when he made his comments. Right or wrong, he had to go sit that ass down. Yeah. Now she's feeling the same wrath.
Yeah.
Right.
And my point is, it's not, and God bless, I don't mean this in a bad way.
Right.
She's not just a line worker at Walmart or UPS or McDonald's or whatever.
She's responsible for much more.
You know, it's not like, you know,
about that herself.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so she is the CEO. She's the head. She is the company. You know, aka Jay-Z said, "I'm not a businessman. I'm the businessman." Yeah. That's the point. You the CEO. Everything you do is scrutinized.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not about ruining her life per se, as it's about what's affecting her business. She is her business.
Right.
And that's where she has to think about the things that she does and how because here's the thing. It's not just affecting her life now. It's affecting other people who work for her.
Yeah.
Who now are going to probably be getting laid off or lose their job because of the things she did. It's just like with Roseanne. When Roseanne made those tweets, how it affected everybody who worked on the Roseanne show. Right. It was bigger than Roseanne, but her choice has now affected not only herself, but a multitude of families. The kids who relied on that money from their parents who worked on that show to go to school, who to do all the things that they were doing.
So just to throw this out there, like I will say this about Roseanne, while her tweets were uncalled for, and what she received the punishment that she received, she also did make a stand for the show to have a sequel, right? To keep all those other people employed. Like she made a stand and was like, hey, why don't we do this spinoff? Y'all do the spinoff. I'll sit down. Y'all do the spinoff so all these people can stay employed.
Right. And I give you that.
That's for them. So you wouldn't lose 200 jobs.
Yeah.
Right. Off of her stupid mistake. So I'll give her that. Right. It doesn't excuse the insensitive, tweets that were made.
Are there any black people on that show?
Yes.
Yeah. Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes is the one that laid the hammer down.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch the show.
Yeah, she was one of the main writers.
Wanda Sykes laid the hammer.
Okay, yeah. That's one person I do remember was Wanda Sykes. I thought she was like a writer or something.
Yeah, she's a writer.
Yeah.
So I will say this though. Sometimes I believe things are taken too far out of context. Like we know Roseanne has been Roseanne for as long as we can remember Roseanne, right? What she said wasn't really out of character for her.
No.
You know what I mean? And so, while they're insensitive, at some point we have to be like, that's who they are, and that's who we've allowed them to be for almost 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Roseanne has always been there. She's always been Roseanne Barr. Like that's always been her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, she had harsh, raunchy jokes, but that was a little harsh. Right. I ain't gonna lie, that was harsh.
But she's always been that.
Right. And I'm gonna say this on what you just said. You made a valid point in we've allowed her to be that way, but just as much as we want to have her have accountability for that, we have to have accountability for not allowing that to exist in the first place. But the only way to do that is to start by holding the people accountable doing it, and then continue to reinforce the idea that we will hold people accountable to ever make a change. Right. It's kind of, and I don't want to delve, we already kind of talked about it in a separate episode, but it's kind of going into the Me Too movement of accountability. Until we stand up and hold the people doing it accountable, then in turn, we can't make a stance to say there is accountability for it not to happen in the future. And that's the thing where, because we've allowed it to happen so long, it's not a chicken or egg thing. It just has to be, accountability has to start.
So yes. In all fields, yes. While I'm not making excuses and I'm not excusing it, when we're talking about comics, like comics make a living
by being raunchy.
By
making people uncomfortable.
Right. That's what they do.
And I'm with you. But
so you can't hold them accountable for what we pay them to do.
But here's the thing. She wasn't on the show. She wasn't in a stand-up situation.
True.
This was a tweet.
Hold on. Hold on. Think about
I understand what you're saying. No, listen to what I'm saying. Because here's the thing. Her response was not based on, oh, I'm just doing this as a comic. She said, I did this because of drugs.
Hold on. That was her rebuttal. That was her rebuttal.
Right.
But
there were several layers of that.
Yeah.
It was the drugs. She didn't realize the woman was black, in her words, which, to be fair, I could understand. And then on top of that, she is a comic, and she's gonna tell jokes. I mean, just because you're not on stage doesn't mean you're not a comic anymore.
Okay. So here's the thing.
So, hold on. Before you go there, I want to go back to what you said in the beginning, right? You said when you're a CEO, you got to realize that you're not the businessman. I mean, what was the whole line?
It's not a business. You are the businessman.
Right. So what that means is she is always on camera. She is always in performance.
She's always on stage.
She's always on stage because that's her brand. She's a comic, right? Kevin Hart is always on stage, whether it's Twitter, it's Instagram, it's Snapchat, it's YouTube, or it's his HBO comedy special. He's always in character, always in performance. That's who a comic is.
So then, comics have no accountability.
But it's
been others.
No. I know. That's what I'm saying. If they're always on, I'm just laying a straight out point. Okay. Based on what you just said about them always being in character, that means they have no accountability. Because if they say something as a comic, if I turn to you and I just hit you with a bunch of F-bombs and this and that and this and then I drag for you and your mama and I go, but I'm doing comedy now.
So here's the thing.
That's not what happened.
I'm saying, no, listen to what I'm saying. If I'm a comic, right? If I'm doing a stand-up, or if I'm doing a show, there's research. I have writers. I'm putting together a team.
Absolutely.
I understand what I'm talking about. I have depth. I have understanding to the topics I'm presenting to my audience. When I'm on stage, doing a show, or if I'm filming a show or a movie, correct? Yes or no, right? I'm gonna get to my point, but I need you to answer yes or no, correct? Yes. Okay. When I'm sitting in my house and I tweet something based on what you're saying, because I'm a comic, I can still blast anything I want out and then go, my bad, I didn't realize this, but based on what you just said, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's not what I said.
Because you said she's.
That's not
you
what I said.
She's always on. I'm always on, right?
She is always on.
He made the excuse because she didn't know this about. Art made the excuse. She didn't know this. She didn't know that.
Let me say something real quick. Accountability does not disappear on or off the stage.
Correct.
You have Kramer, who was on stage, the guy who played Kramer, blasting out the N-word. He was held accountable for his actions, and he was on stage.
But there was context.
Right. It's the context. It's not. She will still be held accountable. She still was held accountable.
Right.
She deserved the reaction that she got. Right. The thing is that we need to be aware. It's that idea of being aware that she's a comic and that she's going to act this way.
She is going to push the envelope,
and she's going to get the.
That's who she is.
She's going to get what she always deserves to get from those things.
Pushing the envelope is what's gotten her paid.
Right.
True. But at the same time, like you said, you do have to hold them accountable because there's been other comics that's been held accountable for their words.
I'm not saying she shouldn't be held accountable. What I'm saying is realize who we've molded.
Right.
We molded her. She didn't mold her. We molded her. Because when she pushed the envelope, we responded in kind as a society.
No, to her stand-up and her shows and the things she said, not to her doing tweeting.
No, it's not true, sir. That we responded to everything.
Wasn't she on a TV show, like a daytime?
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, then she was on a reality show too.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Like you say,
as a comic, just like with many of the most raunchy people out there in general, the line of basic comedy and what you say, and then the natural sense of who you are as a person has to be separate, whether you're a comic or whatever you do, because she's not. Yes, listen to what I'm saying. It goes back to what I'm saying. If we're sitting at a table and she walks over to Brandon and she starts calling him the N-word and throwing F-bombs and talking about his mama and all this stuff, does Brandon go, oh, that's just Roseanne being Roseanne?
It depends on the context.
Listen to what I'm saying.
It depends on the context. Is she telling a story?
Telling a story? Listen to what I'm saying. She attacked that woman. That was not a stand-up that she did in her tweets. Yes or no? Was it a stand-up? That's a yes or no question.
It was a joke.
It was a joke. She told it as a joke. Like it was told as a joke. That's the whole point.
But that wasn't a joke. Come on, let's be
okay. So that goes into perception. Mm-hmm. She told it as a joke, as she always has.
But I feel like she used the joke thing after she realized it was jacked up.
That's perception as well.
But
okay, so
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing: if that was a joke, why did she not stand in her place as a comic? Why did she make excuses about everything else that you just went into, Art, right? You said she gave different levels of excuses. As a comic,
right?
As a comic, you don't fold on your art.
Hold on. Let me explain. Okay, when she came up with the excuses, right? Those excuses were there in order to explain why she thought the joke was acceptable, not to explain why it wasn't offensive. She knew it was offensive because she pushes the envelope, but she thought it was acceptable because of all those things that played a factor. Roseanne is a funny person. Comics are funny people in real life. They're just because they have all the writers in order to hone the funny doesn't make them not funny in real life. They started off as funny people and decided, hey, I'm funny, I'm gonna be a comic. They didn't start off with a team of writers, right? They didn't start off with any of that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I totally do. But
right.
I think you're missing my point. I totally get what you just said, but you're missing the point I'm making. Is you just said, correct me if I'm wrong, you just said that based on the perception, it wasn't her idea of, she understood what she said was offensive.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
But she thought it was acceptable based on these things.
Yes.
Right?
Based on what we molded.
Based on what we molded, right?
No, based on the things that she thought she knew.
Based on, okay. So,
Art. So her excuses were she didn't realize the woman's ethnic background. Right? And that she was on some type of drug. Right. Or like medicine. Right. Okay. So with the mixture of those two things, what she was saying is, my bad. I thought this was acceptable. She's like, I was on the medicine, brain's not working right, and I didn't realize the woman's ethnic background, so I thought it was funny because it wouldn't have been offensive. I knew it was going to push the envelope on offense, but I didn't think it would hit this level. That's what she was trying to say.
At no point is she being
insensitive.
Well, no. The at no point are we saying, it's okay that she did this.
No, I'm not saying you're. But here's where I'm at now. Yeah. So taking what you just said.
Okay.
All right. Now, can you just to be clear, can you repeat what you just said one more time for me? Just the last part.
What?
About based on her taking the drugs and what she thought she knew. I just want you to repeat it in your words for me real quick.
Right. So she thought it was acceptable based on the information she thought she knew.
Mm-hmm. And the drugs that she took, right?
Okay.
I'm just because I don't want to take that out of the context, right?
In the medicine.
So going back to what I said before, talking about as a comic, whether you're doing a stand up or a show or whatever, because it's your business, because this is who you are,
brand.
Using your stuff. You said you're always on,
right?
As a comic, right?
Right.
Because this is your business,
right?
I just want to make sure I'm clear,
right?
Which means that when I make something like this, my research is supposed to be correct, right?
No.
Because that's what I'm doing. Because I'm always on. Because I'm
no. Hold on.
No. It should be correct because this is my business.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're talking about.
No. It is. Listen to what I'm saying because I'm getting to the root of it. The bottom line. You just told me as a comic, she's supposed to be always on. You made that statement.
No. That's not what I said. She's not. I didn't say she's supposed to be always on. I said she is always on.
Okay, so she is on. So she is always on.
So as being always on, what that implies is she always has the public eye, not that she's always prepared for it.
So
that's all I'm. That's the point I'm making.
Boom. I'm glad you said that too. Now,
okay.
So just we're gonna go back to an episode where we talked about Kanye.
Okay.
About always being prepared. Remember we had that whole conversation where you agreed with me about always being prepared because you're always in the public eye, right?
Yes. I'm not making excuses for her. I'm not saying she did this correctly. I'm saying what her statements were saying. That's all I'm saying. I am not making excuses for her. She is in the hot seat for a good reason.
Right. I'm just trying to get to the point to understand because the thing is the separation of who she is over here and over here. If she cannot handle herself medicated or whatever it is, or not understanding when she goes to make something, regardless of who you are. When you're in the public, just like the CEO.
So she
is the CEO of who she is, right?
So
Roseanne is the CEO of who she is,
right? But here's the difference between Roseanne and Kanye, and because their professional lives are different. Kanye, as a professional, started off not in a public speaking position, right? So we weren't listening to Kanye speak about things. We were listening to him write about things, record it, and then put it out. But we, generally speaking, we didn't be like, what do you think about this, Kanye?
No,
Like,
I'm with you. But that's why I went back to the CEO, though.
We did.
Right. But I'm going back to Roseanne as a CEO of her brand. She is the CEO of her brand.
Absolutely.
Right? So she's always on. She's a spokesperson for her brand.
She is supposed to be. And that's the problem. She wasn't.
That's the point I'm making.
I know.
Because
we're not, there isn't like a disagreement. You guys are agreeing on the same thing. You're just coming at two different directions. You guys are both agreeing that what she said was messed up and that she has no excuses that she can put in there.
Yeah.
He's explaining her excuses and saying that they are valid excuses. Mm-hmm. They don't excuse away what she did.
Right.
That's my point. They're not valid excuses because of who she is. Because regardless if she's a comic, regardless if she's an actor or whatever, she is the owner of her brand. That's the point I'm making.
If you thought you knew something, that means you didn't need to research it because you thought you knew. Now, if you're wrong at the end of it, it's called a mistake. But she thought she knew.
Right. So she made the mistake, is what he's saying.
Right. But here's my at our level right now. Mm-hmm. Before we make comments, between myself and Little Known Facts, between the things you brought in, between artifacts that we have right here, we fact check ourselves at our level, right?
Right.
My point is,
I don't fact check myself on a tweet.
No, but you don't have the public eye Roseanne has. You're not in a position to push the envelope. Let me finish. She's at the level to push the envelope that she is. The minute she knew this is what she wanted to put out, she should have been fact. If she knew that as
yes, she
you
should.
Know what I'm saying?
She should have. That's the point we're making. She should have.
You're right.
But
she
should
should
have. And we're mad that she didn't.
But you're saying her excuses are valid, and they're
They
not.
are valid.
They are
not valid.
How
is me saying I'm on? How am I saying that I'm on Ambien?
Hold on. Let me make a point real quick. So we know art is mixed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody walks in here and sees art with a darker toned skin, and they immediately recognize art as being Creole, and they say things to him as if he's Creole, right? And then art be like, hold on, bro, I'm not Creole. Or if they were like, oh man, my bad, I saw your light skin and assumed you were Creole. Were they wrong for not researching his background?
That's different than a situation of her making a tweet. Her comment. This is different. This is a walking in the room conversation about him. This is her making a comment to purposely make the joke, as you said, right? Because we're dealing with somebody who's done this for years. Listen to what I'm saying. This is about craft. You can't sit here. This is the point I'm making. You can't build her on a pedestal and say this is her craft and this is who she is and this is how she goes stuff. And then when she does this over here, then she makes some mistakes. Oh, my bad. I wasn't sure about doing this.
So if she sees a can of green peas, should she go research to make sure it's green peas?
It's not the same thing.
Hold on.
It's not the same thing, man.
Okay, here's what we're doing. She was saying some fucked up shit on Instagram or on Twitter. We all agree on that, right?
Recognize that, yeah.
We all recognize that she's a comedian. And that she should always be on. She should always be correct. She should always have her ducks in the row. What she said, her response was that she made a mistake, and that this X, Y, and Z. This is why she made the mistake. It doesn't excuse the fact that she had made the original comment. This is just her saying, "This is why I made the mistake." I mean, I don't know if she apologized, but obviously she should have apologized. Okay, so she apologized.
Yeah, she publicly apologized.
That's her, I don't know, that's her trying to get out of some of the
True. Yeah.
repercussions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and then the idea that, you know, she has to be a comic and her personal self are two separate things is just it's not valid. It's not relevant because she's always on. She's always who she is. She's always going to be a comedian. Even when she's asleep, she's still a comedian. She could snore funny and people would be like,
and I agree. But my point with that is, if that is the case, if that is who she is, always on, then it is not acceptable to say that her excuse is based on that is correct. And this is my final point. I'm using an analogy you just did. As battle rappers, if I come to you with all the wrong information, how does that make me look as the person who's trying to talk about you?
Like
Did you think you knew that information for sure?
As a battle rap, do you?
Answer the question. It's a yes or no question.
No, it's not, because listen to what I'm saying. As a battle rapper, do I come? Do I come with you the wrong information? Did Pusha T drop the wrong stuff on Drake?
All facts.
Yes or no? Did Pusha T drop the wrong stuff? When
Why
LL
won't you
Cool
answer
J,
my question?
I am answering your question. Listen to what I'm saying.
It's a yes or no question. It doesn't require all this.
It's not, because I'm not coming with the wrong stuff as a battle rapper. As a battle rapper, I do my research. That's the point I'm making.
Hold on, that's not.
I think
That's
she
not the point
clearly
at all.
knew what she was saying.
First of all,
You're not hearing.
I think
You're trying to create a question, but that's not the answer.
You just said, if you come at me with all the wrong information, is it acceptable? I posed the question, did you think your information was correct?
Yeah, and that's just a yes or no. That's not.
Okay. So I'm gonna say yes. You're right. I thought my information was correct.
Okay, then your excuse of making a mistake it's a valid excuse. It doesn't excuse the consequences that come with it.
You're still a fool. You're still a fool.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, we still did something dumb.
But here's you're giving me a question to make it valid, because here's the point. She didn't do the research.
Right.
Correct, because she thought she knew.
But that's my point.
But how we know she
But
didn't
hear
do
what
the
I'm
research?
saying.
She
You saying
clearly
you thought
knew what
she
she was
knew.
doing.
You saying she thought she knew, but she didn't do the research. My point is, if this is her craft, right? Because it goes back to, listen to what I'm saying. She did this tweet on what she thought she knew, based on you saying that she is a comic and she's been doing this for 40 something damn years, right? All right. She knows what it is to do research when she's clowning somebody, because when she's on stage and she's clowning somebody, she gets all the facts. When she goes on to an interview on something like that, she gets all the facts. When she's on her show and she wants to talk about somebody, she gets all the facts.
Right.
So she understands what it is to get facts. So
I'm not disagreeing with that.
But you're making an excuse for her for saying she thought she knew.
I'm not making an excuse.
We're giving the validity to her excuses.
Yes,
they're still wrong. They still don't excuse
They still
anything.
don't excuse the consequences that come with it. What we're saying is, when she said it and she was like, I was on medicine, I wasn't thinking straight, and I didn't realize that my information was wrong. Now, when you mix that with the medicine that affects your mind and you make an impulsive decision, I can see where she made a mistake. It doesn't excuse the fact that she did it. And all the consequences that come with it, come with it. It is what it is. You get what you get. All I'm saying is, I can understand. That's it. I can understand her excuses. That's all I'm saying.
A drunk person speaks a sober mind.
But she wasn't drunk.
Well, I'm just saying, under the medication.
Okay, but
you know
you know what I mean. But alcohol and medication.
But I just feel like she clearly knew what she was doing. I'm sure people understood. She expected some people to like what she said. She just didn't expect the backlash that was going to come with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Absolutely. Right. Yes. Yeah.
Calling bullshit on it. It's mighty funny that she got the damn same issue talking about she's taking medicine just because her character in the show was taking medicine. And as a person who's done this for damn 30, 40 something years, she knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
And she knew better. So her coming with those excuses,
I feel like it just admitted, just like, yo, I knew what I was doing. I was trying to get a reaction out of people, and it didn't go the right way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't believe she don't have a team for her that was going right before she was about to go, I'm about to tweet this.
Hold on, it was done at like 3 a.m. in the morning. She had woken up.
Let me tell you something.
She wasn't sitting here.
Let me tell you something.
She wasn't sitting here making a movie. She was
Trump has an entire presidential cabinet, and he still be tweeting out foolishness
because he's hashtag don't care. But when she was going
hashtag don't care too. She's a Trump supporter.
Roseanne got it.
That's like the only true word somebody famous has is a tweet.
Roseanne got it.
and maybe all I'm saying is there was validity in the excuses. That's all I'm saying. If you think you know something, you don't research it. And then when somebody proves you wrong, you look like a fool. That's the point. That's the issue at hand.
That being said, it could totally be bullshit. It could totally be bullshit.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's not bullshit.
Yeah.
We're just saying that.
I'm gonna just end on this one for you, sir. I don't know how much you IG or tweet stuff like that. When Michael Blackston, a Gary Owens, a Kevin Hart, and all of them go at it, do they just tweet wild stuff and go, my bad?
No.
Or do they do their history? Do comedians do their history?
They get their facts. They spit it out just what it is.
Comedians get their history.
They should.
That's all
They
I'm
should.
saying.
They're
That's all
supposed
I'm
to.
saying.
That we're not arguing that. That's not part of the
But
discussion
I
at all.
understand what he's saying.
I'm not
He's
saying
like, we
you
agree
arguing
with it.
me on that. I agree with you that the stuff she's saying is not wrong. I'm just not going to give her
that pass.
a pass on saying
You don't
her
have to.
excuses
That
are
is not-
valid.
That's
You don't
her.
have to, but you also, if you agree that you can see the validity on it, but you're not going to give it a pass, and just say that we could have eliminated.
I said I agree.
35 minutes
I
of
agree with the
discussion.
validity of her accountability. I don't agree with giving her
Yeah,
excuse.
I agree with that.
I
like
agree.
that.
I agree with the
that.
validity of her accountability. I do
Hold
not
on.
agree with her excuses.
You know how. All right. So here's the thing, and this is kind of what we were talking about when we were talking about Kanye too. Like, he made a mistake. He is not God. He is not something beyond. He should not make mistakes. He should, know what he's talking about. Have a concise statement. What he said was wrong, and he deserved all of the. Even though he didn't really get too much backlash off of it. I mean, people talked about it, but he still sold millions of.
Right.
People forget it the next day.
But my point is that he made a mistake, and he can make mistakes, and that's okay. If he made an excuse, we have to accept his excuse as though that's what he truly believes. That being said, he still messed up. He still did everything wrong. We might not give him the excuse, but he still has an excuse, and that excuse has to be valid.
So I'm just gonna point out a phenomenon, right quick, right? Because when we had the Kanye discussion, there was Art and Foolie Q was on the show, right? And Art and Foolie Q took a stance and were like, give him a pass. And me and MrBroadcast were like, we're not gonna give him a pass.
I didn't say give him a pass. I just said I understand.
I'm summarizing.
Okay.
I'm summarizing just for the I'm not being too specific there. But I believe, and this is what it is. The reason that he didn't get the pass from us is because how close the cultures are, the beginning cultures.
Yeah. How you see yourself within that culture?
I do. Yeah. So there was a reflection, not only culturally but professionally, right? Because I knew if I was in that position, I wouldn't do that.
Ooh. So, and this is totally just a theory, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're a bit more
Passionate,
invested in this argument, because you will also take pharmaceuticals, and you also tweet and stuff. Just a kind of, you have a bit of a connection to this situation, because I think we're, especially in this one where Twitch and I are coming at it, it's like we're not saying she's right.
We're just fans of comedy.
We're standing back and we're like, okay, I get it. I get it.
Right.
That was my thing with Kanye. I get it. He fucked up, but I get it.
Yeah.
Now, with Kanye words, I don't agree with what he said, but I see what he was trying to mean, like what he was getting at.
Yeah, and looking back retrospectively, where I can
thought out perfectly.
No, not at all. But like going back to check my own self, right? I can see that now, because in this discussion, it's the same setup. Exactly, it's the same setup. However, I just don't identify with Roseanne in any way, shape, or form, But with Kanye, I identify with Kanye, right? Because like College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduations, those are albums I grew up on professionally, right? In the field that I'm in. I use those albums as staple albums, right? When I look at or listen to artists coming in the studio and rapping, I'm comparing their flows to his flows appropriately with other people, you know, Jay-Z, Lupe, all, you know what I'm saying? You know, but because I had that connection to his culture and what he did professionally, I was like, nah, you don't get a pass. You don't get a pass,
right?
Because you expected more.
Because you didn't cherish what I seek. You don't get a pass because you didn't cherish what I seek.
You kind of built him up on a proverbial pedestal.
Yeah, you said that in the last video, but until I come out of my own bubble of anger, I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like I saw it, but I didn't see it from this perspective. Like now being here talking about this, you know what I'm saying? I can go back and be like, I grew from that. You know, Art and I had a whole discussion after the video where we grew from that, right? And so now I can grow from it again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm saying that because you are a person that stands on stage and talks to people, and you're a person that has an understanding of what those medications can do, what they're capable of, more than we do, right? Because of what you know, you might be like, no, I wouldn't allow that to happen on the inside, right? And I understand it now. Like I can get it. I can understand where the no pass mindset comes from, because I took the same stance with you.
Right.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Your resume and portfolio is much more extensive than mine is. So like I can get that. I can get that. So I said all that to say is, on this 4th of July episode of The Kitchen, where we have come full circle and we have talked about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? We talked about the little girl who was just living life. We talked about the woman who didn't allow the little girl liberty. And then now we're talking about our own pursuits of happiness mirrored through the people we put up on those proverbial pedestals.
Okay.
This is our declaration of independence as a podcast. Boom.
I like that. I like that.
So, on this 4th of July, how do your inalienable rights that are given to you by your creator, how are you going to use them?
That's a good question.
There we go.
And as always, if you like this video, hit the like button. You want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell next to it so you get the notifications when we drop the video. Y'all, we out.